Hello gang, and welcome to video 2 on the alpha theory, debunking myths in my little series this week. Hope everyone's having a good week so far. And following on from what I said in my video yesterday, I just wanted to start to cover some of the behaviours that we may see appearing in our dogs that often again I see lots and lots of theories bandied around about your dog being alpha, or your dog trying to take over, or your dog being master, and that you need to be more assertive, be more in charge of him, show him who's boss, etc, etc, etc. So following on from yesterday, I thought today I'd cover a little bit about the myths around your dog trying to take over the world if he's a reactive dog, for example. So I know many people struggle with reactivity, especially in our breed, the Doberman, and it's often mistaken for your dog absolutely being out of control and you not being in charge. And that's what I hear a lot of. Sadly, it's actually usually a case of your dog having a bit of a wellness issue. So a fear issue, an anxiety issue, or reactivity can come from a place of frustration. So what we need to do again is, now we know that the alpha, the wolf pack theory is all nonsense, and we've been studying our science-based training methods and looking at what's really going on for dogs when they're displaying certain types of behaviour. What we need to understand is that when reactivity comes from fear and anxiety, and that's where it normally comes from, it comes from a place of what your dog is feeling, and it comes from a behavior, the behavior your dog might be displaying is that which serves him in that moment. So if your dog is worried or frightened or anxious about other dogs, then he may bark and lunge and growl. And often people think, well, if he's frightened, he's not going to do this. He's showing aggression. But what's actually going on is, as I say, that feeling may serve him in that moment, because he may have learned that barking, growling, lunging, etc. means that the dog he's worried about goes away, or you remove him from the situation. And that's why he's expressing that kind of behaviour, not because he really wants to kill that dog that you've just come across. So it's important to understand that, first and foremost, that although your dog may appear to be wanting to be the boss, be the alpha in that moment, what he's actually doing often is shouting at the other dog to make him go away, especially if he's on his lead, because when your dog's reacting, he's in that part of his brain, which means that he's in survival mode. So he can't actually think about or concentrate on anything else, which is often why people say, my dog isn't interested in food when we're out and about. It's because your dog is in that, he's got into that zone when he's seen that other dog that's triggered him. He's literally not able to even realise that there's food available, because he's in that fight, flight, freeze or fiddle, as we call it, zone in his brain, which means he can't take food. So because he's on his lead as well, of course, he can't run away. So he may just want to, look as if he's fighting. So he's going to try and make that dog go away, or he might just freeze or crouch. There are many different things our dog will do when he is in that particular zone in his brain. So it's important to understand. It's also important to understand that our dogs, when they are reactive in this way, need help and support. They don't need mastering. Mastering is actually the last thing you should be thinking about doing, because you're just going to make your dog feel worse. And of course, you also run the risk of ruining your relationship with your dog. Or if you're using tools that perhaps your dog finds really, really difficult, you may find that the behaviour gets worse. So it's important, first and foremost, to understand, as I say, what is going on for your dog, and then address those issues. It's a wellness issue, and that's what we have to look at. And that is why there is no quick fix for reactivity. So for those of you who struggle with a reactive dog, I think perhaps the best way we can look at this, the best way we can think of this, as opposed to he's trying to dominate other dogs or be the master or take over the world, is let's have a little look at what's really going on for a dog who's fearful, for example. So if you have a dog who is reactive and the underlying cause is anxiety or fear, which it most often is, then what's going on for him is he's having to face his fears on a daily basis. He's being taken out on a walk, and whilst he might enjoy some of it, he runs the risk of bumping into something he fears greatly every single day. And of course, that means that his walks are also extremely worrying, and there's a lot of anxiety around them for him too. So if you imagine you are an arachnophobic, for example, so you have a terror of spiders, which is what an arachnophobic is. If you imagine your dog has that kind of phobia or fear around what triggers him, be it other dogs, be it people, etc., and he's being taken out every single day, he's obviously going to become more anxious and more worried, because he runs the risk of running into, oh my God, a spider around every corner, if that makes sense. I hope that helps you understand a little bit more about what could be going on for your reactive dog. And therefore, what we need to do is treat him, not master him. So that's day 2 of my little myth-busting video series, and I hope it's helped a few of you, at least with reactive dogs, understand that your dog is not trying to take over the world. He's actually struggling quite badly when he's coming across triggers every day. So I hope that's helped you a little bit, helped you understand, and look out for day 3 in our series tomorrow. And as always, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and thank you for following Dome Academy. Bye.